There's no intro or anything like that, so you weren't live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RadicalInvestor.com's daily brief. Chris is usually driving the bus, but I think there's electrical issues in the great state of El Salvador. So we're kind of doing a hack job here today. And I guess no intros and any of that kind of stuff. So it's just me. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Let's go. Actually, speaking of let's go, Jesus, I had one of these little altcoins, LFGO, running up here. Wasn't able to get into it, and the damn thing went crazy overnight. It was a little bit of a bummer. That was a fun one that we were watching through the weekend. Let's see. I don't know whether I can show it on this or not. Actually, I'm really surprised. I didn't get a fill on this NVIDIA. We were watching this yesterday too. Even went through my damn sell level. Anyway, hopefully I can get some fills on that later on today. Where was it? It was. I guess I have it on this deck screener thing here. I was quite surprised. Yeah, big run up there. It is LFGO. Huge run up there. Missed this trade by a whisker. I was trying to get into it yesterday and didn't get any fills. But anyway. Okay, so this is kind of a weird start. Sorry, everybody. Just put all that nonsense away. So we start off a conversation here. 16th, 17th, I guess, last update from the breadth. Today is Monday, 5/20. So 17th, I guess that's correct there. So Monday, May 20th. Geez, only 10 more days left. I guess 11 on this glorious month of May. And I just found out today, of course, welcome to communist. I mean, does anybody actually work in this society anymore? It's kind of pathetic what they've done here, this communist socialist freak show society that we live in here now. Turns out the 20th of May is now a national holiday in my country. When the hell did that happen? God, it's just pathetic how they just keep adding these Hallmark holidays here that are just completely meaningless. I mean, this is so stupid. There should be no holiday here. Anyway, just another reason for governments to, close down government offices so they can save money, but, at the same time, taxpayer doesn't get any relief or anything. I mean, it's just one thing after another in this society. It just doesn't end. Dystopia. God damn. Anyway, so welcome back to the frivolity. Can't really report on anything Canadian. Even had a few mining stocks that I'm bidding on that I'd really like to get some fills, but since the market's closed, nothing I can do here today. Was having some fun in the crude pits here this morning. Although it was kind of a choppy session. I did take a couple shots. One of them quickly got stepped out. And if anything, this is half the reason why we like to run these kind of plans is it's taking short shots against these highs. Obviously we didn't know that was going to happen. So, try and limit risk. So I got stopped out for like 12 tick loss there on that one. And then you can see we came actually into a Hogue level. Put in a nice little reversal bar there. Sold half of the position off, and just running the runner right now, and it's moving up smartly. But interestingly enough, though, we're coming into actually a level that I could technically buy here. Mr. ICT seems to be. I have no idea if this guy's even around or not, but interesting how that market structure shift happened, and here we are at 61.8s. I like to use 61.8s. I don't know whether this is a valid setup for him or not, but anyway, below a bunch of moving averages here, so I'm not really too jazzed about hopping off my short and getting long, but you can see cute little inside bar here. Fired, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I've got my stop at scratch on this thing right now. Not really in a big hurry to do anything. I'll probably just leave that for the rest of the morning. Stocks, pretty happy. Interesting though, we have a bit of a disconnect here. Mr. ICT, kind of loving this guy's setup. 61.8 dead cat bounce following a market structure shift here, going the other direction. Sold this actually on an open order. risking, of course, to new highs. And you can see there is the stop, and it's just sort of working away. So a little bit of an interesting disconnect here, because usually the euro and the stock market move in unison. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's up a couple ticks right now. So nothing really pressing to do there. I think probably what caught my attention this morning, and also too, we should just take a boo. What are we talking about here? The Dow's up 0.01%, so we're not talking huge moves here. I think you probably just call this day unchanged. I was, Nvidia was popping up here first thing this morning. Like I said, I was hoping I was going to get that fill on the little meme coin proxy that I have over there in Solana land. So this thing was up quite a bit more earlier this morning, but it seems to have faded here a bit. And actually, interestingly enough, if you do follow him, I personally have a great amount of respect. Probably very few people in the market do I have like just outright respect for. Mr. Druckenmiller, he walks on water as far as I'm concerned. And he actually reported recently that he let go of his Nvidia position. He figured he got as much out of it as he wanted, and it was time for other people to enjoy the ride. And interestingly enough, they have earnings coming out, I think, on Wednesday. I think it's the 22nd here. So, I wouldn't even be surprised, actually, if you see Nvidia come off a big chunk here. Anyway, wish me luck. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't give me that fill in after hours, but it is what it is. Looking at Bitcoin and crypto, you can see market is catching a bit of a bid here this morning. So, my crypto market's still pointing higher here in the short term. I think, this probably is the best image for you. I'm a little worried that today was sort of going to be the post FOMC bounce, and then it exhausted itself, and oh boy, all hell broke loose. And it just kind of feels like I wouldn't even be surprised if Bitcoin rallies up and hits this AB equals CD objective, especially if tech stocks are relatively happy. And then, oh boy, look out. Could be trouble tomorrow, but it doesn't look like anything really terrible today. And today's kind of a weird day anyway. When we look at the actual econs driving the market today, not really a lot. Stocks, I still think they're awfully nosebleedy up here. We're kind of in no man's land. You can see where trendline resistance is up top in this old AB equals CD objective. So I think that's resistance. And of course, 13 EMA works very well as short-term support. So you can kind of see we're in this very wide band where we could easily be zooming all around here. Does look like we painted a new high here this morning. So 348 and a quarter, and our old high there 349. Oh, beg your pardon. Oh, I stand corrected. So we have not painted a new high here yet. I thought we did. I guess it must have just been the NASDAQ that's gone to new highs here. But I suppose probably the market that has everybody interested right now, of course, is the gold market. And I think it moved to new highs here this morning. Usually when markets do move to new highs like that, though, they do have a bit of a pause, and you can see a little double top came in there. Currency's looking a little bit softer. And if anything, I think I was noticing that the breadth indicator was kind of suggesting that maybe the country funds and stuff gone a little too far, too fast here. So I'm wondering whether, let's see if I can just get this on the actual date here. There we are, 17th. All right. Let's move my mouse over here. There we are. All right. So we've got country funds in the medium term heavily overbought. And you can see on the short term, they're creeping their way up here. So, if we get a situation just over the next couple of days, I know China, for instance, Taiwan just announced a new leader, Lei Ching-te. And I thought it was funny. The news headline this morning was out of him. Hey, China, back off! Go get your own sandwich. If you're a 90s kid, you'll remember that reference. So, they might have a bit of enthusiasm around him being elected, and of course, enthusiasm around the Pacific Rim countries. Also, too, Iran, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Basically the president of Iran died, and from what I understand, he was a pretty hardliner guy, which meant that a lot of sort of moderates within Iran itself were actually quite jubilant overnight, lighting off fireworks and stuff like that on the news of his death, and at least the news of the helicopter crashing. Also, too, I think the foreign minister of Iran died. So I get the distinct impression Iran's going to have to take a step back here now and lick its wounds. And if anything, this might set one of these kind of like just short-term, very optimistic kind of scenarios. Having said that, and what I heard repeatedly overnight, and I also heard this morning, is of course a lot of people within Iran are trying to figure out who can they blame. And I don't know whether this was just a natural, malfunction. The weather conditions that they were flying in were absolutely horrible. They should have never been flying in them to begin with. I can't. Do they find? I was joking in the day trader room this morning. Do they find? A Hellfire missile sticking out of the back of the helicopter. And if they do, oh boy, all hell's going to break loose. So I don't know. We'll see how the dust settles. What I will say, though, is if we do get some sort of short-term euphoric pop in the market, this actually could set up kind of a dangerous situation where we have all of the country funds all heavily overbought in the short and medium term, which means that the global economy maybe is due for a bit of a correction. Also, too, and this is very odd that we're this strong in the middle to the end of May. Usually we're not this uppy this time of year. So seasonally, a little bit suspect there as well. Then I'd also say, too, we do have a bit of a problem here with the breadth. I think I pointed that out. You can even see on the medium term now we are officially overbought, and the short term is actually breaking down here. So there's problems there. And then lastly, and I think I pointed this out in recent videos, if we look at things like internal measures, there's a problem here as well. And actually, one of our recent additions to the team, Terry, who's actually doing quite a bit of help for us. Thank you, Terry. Working with our marketing department, trying to extend the Beamish out into the world. Anyway, he had pointed out, and I had pointed out recently, that we actually have a problem with Dow theory here. Basically, the transports have put in an M and are heading down, while the industrials are breaking out to new highs. This is very problematic for the market. So, this image, I think here is actually a very good illustration of this image here. Something is not right with the internals of the market, and we're in this really screwy phase of the market, and it happened in the late 40s and through the 50s, where you have just a pocket of maybe a half a dozen stocks because they have such large market caps that they, if they are feeling uppy, they can drive the indexes to new highs, even though the broader market is not very happy at all. In fact, actually, yeah, you can look and see the price is melting here a bit now. And it's the old culprits, all these tech stocks. If I understand correctly, I think one of Fink, what a perfect name. Fink, one of his darlings is actually reporting here pretty soon. So we're probably going to see some fireworks out of some of these tech stocks as they come in through the earnings. So which one was it? Anyway, I can't remember which one it was just off the top of my head. But you can see that there are a bunch of these tech stocks that are sort of leading the charge today. You look at the rest of the market, and actually I'm not like overly impressed. Allen. I wonder if Allen's still the richest guy in the world. But look how small Allen has gotten. I guess no such thing as shrinkage in Allen's world, is there? But anyway, nothing. I mean, it's the old culprits. Tech leading the charge here first thing this morning out of the gate. Looks like semiconductors are relatively happy. But the interesting thing, like I said, is Mr. Druckenmiller actually has walked away from his NVIDIA position. And I'm just hoping that I get my fill here on my order, and then I'll be more than happy to see NVIDIA puke out here. I've got to get my final double off there. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. So, but like a lot of the market is just sort of like lazy, not really overly exciting. So, I think it's the old culprits of, tech is leading the charge here. Look at AMAT up 3.5%. I think I even heard people talking. I mean, look at some of these numbers here out of these semiconductors, which, if anything, is a little suspect, especially with NVIDIA having their earnings in a couple days. These guys disappointed all, you might find that this whole sector just rolls right back over. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Thank you, Chris. So, it's not really a day that you can say, well, it's being driven by fundamentals. If anything, I absolutely hate this market state now, where look at these guys. They were so horrifically wrong in calling this whole inflation thing through the COVID nonsense. And yet, we all know it's driven by Jerry. And how ironic, Jerry now has COVID. Wouldn't that be hilarious if Jerry drops dead here from COVID? That would be absolutely poetic. And actually, it is interesting how you see a lot of people are sort of like negative karma. They have very interesting deaths. I thought it was interesting that, like almost everybody in the O.J. Simpson trials and all that, they all died very young deaths. Like none of the lawyers survived very much long afterward. But anyway, that's sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of talk. But way too much Fed speakers. What the fuck? I mean, shut up. You people are like academics at best, and I don't have much respect for PhDs in the marketplace. I think that's potion for disaster. Alan Blinder was publicly laughed at John Roth for selling his Nortel stock at the very top of the market in year 2000. And within 2 or 3 years, Nortel was bankrupt. The stock was worthless. Now, who was smart? Certainly not Alan Blinder, that's for sure. And he went on to become like Obama's chief economic advisor. How the hell these people get these jobs, I have no idea. Anyway, point of the matter here is I really don't like the fact that they are talking so much. I mean, this guy's talking like twice a day. What the this is not doing us any favors. Now, why are they talking so much? We all know the truth, because they're trying to pull off this great con job of hyperinflating the money supply, add a zero onto the end of every single price tag, and get used to it. You have no choice, right? I mean, that's the reality that we live in. So they're just going to keep talking and jabber-mouthing and stuff, and just simply trying. We got to confuse them. We got to distract them. We got to do everything possible so that they don't catch on to what is actually going on in this world. And I find this just disgusting. And it just doesn't seem to end. It's the world that we live in. And I'll probably end up in a prison cell because I'm going to keep bitching and complaining about how utterly wrong this is. And hell, in my country now, if I say that the dear leader is a doofus and an idiot, I think they interpret that as hate speech. And by the way, I'm long his meme coin and it's moving up nicely. So I suppose that's a bonus. Anyway, so we don't really have any econs driving price action. It's all these idiot speakers that are they're just opinions. And I've told you, you all know what I think of people that have opinions and what those opinions are worth, including mine. Opinions are worthless. So, none of these people have any skin in the game. They're just opinions, and 9 times out of 10, they're horribly backwards. And, you want somebody who actually has a half-decent opinion. Listen to Stanley Druckenmiller. You heard me talk about him and how he's got out of his NVIDIA position here. And, of course, he has utter disdain for these people. So I'm in Stanley's camp, whatever it's worth. Um, as so, I think probably what's driving the market more here today is the news. I definitely think that what's the news coming out of Iran is going to have a massive impact on the Middle East and the whole situation with Israel. Let's hope to God they can't sort of attach Israel or the United States to the death of him. If they can, then this is going to escalate quite a bit more. And then I thought it was also interesting too that we had basically our new Taiwanese leader is basically telling China to go screw themselves. So hats off to you, Mr. Lei Ching-ti. Good on you to stand up to these bullies. Bullies should never get any respect. And good luck. I think it's going to be damn difficult for China to invade Taiwan. I just don't think that they're ready. But again, that's just opinion. Who cares? But I do think that this is going to definitely ruffle some feathers over there in Eastern Asia. Kind of a sad note, I suppose. Things like, I used to remember growing up, Red Lobster was always a fun outing for the family, if you will. Going to go have a nice seafood dinner. They declared bankruptcy, so that's a little sad to see. Interesting how the headlines coming out are homes are overvalued in most of the U.S. What do you think the valuation of homes are in China? God. So one of these days, the shoe's going to drop on China, and it's going to turn into an absolute train wreck here. The Chinese central bank has actually even started to threatening to lower interest rates, which should absolutely destroy the Canadian currency. We are, interestingly enough, 2008 was basically 8 years following the 2000 cycle peak for the Americans. The housing market in there had no business being where it was. It was propped up entirely by politicians, Junior Bush, and all the crooked, right-wing politicians down in the States there through his presidency. And I would argue the exact same scenario is happening here in China. So 8 years, the cycle peak was the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. So 8 years following that would be 2025, 2026. And of course, the politicians in this country have completely destroyed the fundamentals of our economy and our society. So literally, I can see an exact duplication of the absolute disaster that happened in the United States. I could see that happening here in Canada. So what that means is I just got to cool my jets and just keep my nose clean for I guess the next year and a half, 2 years. Let Sior do all his wonderfulness. Let's have fun in the crypto space, banging out doubles, all that kind of fun stuff. Bitcoin maybe run up to a couple hundred G's. I thought it was interesting that one of the headlines that I read this morning was, I think it was from, where was it? This headline here. Former Home Depot CEO warns Biden's economy created a wrecking ball for the next president. And I would have to agree. I mean, ironically enough, and it's almost like these people have been given very specific instructions by like the Anunnaki or somebody that's driving all of this, because Biden has done exactly the same as what this Trudeau idiot here in my country has done. I mean, completely destroyed the fundamentals of this situation. I mean, the budget deficits down in the States, you're not supposed to run budget deficits during good economic times. It's an absolute disaster. And I don't know what the end result of this is. But, like I said, Bitcoin, couple $100,000 a coin, it would not surprise me in this scenario. So, not really any new econs driving the situation here today. Whole bunch of these doofuses just keep speaking. And now we're getting them twice a day, trying to baffle. We always used to say, when they stop taking the horse shit, switch to the pig shit. When they stop taking the pig shit, switch to the cow shit. When they stop taking the cow shit, switch to the chicken shit. So that's what these guys are doing. They're just keep speaking and just keep, loading on the bullshit to just try and, gloss over how bad the situation is. Anyway, there's your rant for a Monday morning. As I had said, there's a lot of sort of internal problems here. Breadth indicator, internals Dow theory, that kind of idea. And, the country funds looking a little dangerous there now. Put it all together. Boy, this is a tough, tough market. I'm not quite sure what their plan is up top here. I will say that, believe it or not, actually, this does, if I'm not mistaken, I think this does set up a harmonic. What time is it? 9:30. Yeah, we should probably wind this free broadcast up. As I had said there a moment ago, don't really have a lot of new econs to talk to you people about here today. I think the market is kind of drifty first thing in the morning. I suppose, probably actually not a bad idea for us to do things like pull up NVIDIA and, is this thing setting itself up for some trouble? Interesting how we are right up against these highs. We have not broken the new highs. And interesting too how there's a fractal top, a nice empire. So it hasn't happened yet, but if you see this price action, these tops hold in the market through this empire low here, that actually is a pretty big sell signal. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's not today. So, as I had said, stock market's pointing up. Bitcoin is pointing up. I still think that they need to go up and hit these bull ABCD objectives. The total market cap appears to be, yep, you can see it's reaching higher here. So I don't really see anything stopping this. In fact, actually, I was talking to somebody in the lounge here this morning, and I do like the idea that probably the market wants to go up into this confluence of this dotted line, that low to high trend line, which I think is pretty powerful, and of course the downtrend line off of the top. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think, what do we have? We have Fed minutes coming up later on this week. The interesting enough, the Fed speakers this morning were saying more along the lines of, a higher for longer kind of rhetoric. So we're probably going to see that kind of message out of the Fed minutes. And of course, NVIDIA should be a really interesting event on Wednesday. All right, well, there's your summary for Monday morning. PMA for the win, slow and steady wins a race. Wish me luck on getting my liquidity fills over there in DeFi land. I can't believe I missed this. Let's... you can't even say this in public speak. But anyway, look at that damn thing. We were looking at it right here, and I put my bids in right here. I was willing to buy this breakout level, and it just took off. So obviously you can't chase something that looks like that. But damn, what a great analogy of the meme coin world that we live in. So, take it for whatever it's worth. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. Slow and steady wins the race. We'll see everybody in the after party shortly. If you'd like to chit-chat a little bit about various altcoins and various stocks, keep in mind a lot of the stocks that I'm bidding on right now are in Canada, and Canada's closed right now, so it's going to be a fairly muted activity day for me in the stock market. But there should be some interesting cryptos that we could look at as well. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.